Intelligence has been a symbol of prestige and success. It is considered almost as important as a bulging wallet. And although it is known that how far you can go in life does not depend on your IQ, the fact is that geniuses attract attention. Great inventors, philosophers, artists, physicists, and mathematicians make up a list of personalities who earned their rightful place in history through remarkable works, inventions, and discoveries. Among all of them, there is someone who is considered the most intelligent man who ever existed. And although, due to the time, no IQ test was conducted to prove it, it is known from his achievements that, according to the official historical record, he is the brightest person who ever lived. And given the things this character did while alive, it's unlikely that anyone will surpass him anytime soon. First, let's look at other great geniuses. Stephen Hawking is considered one of the most intelligent men on the planet. Despite having a high IQ, it is not among the highest in the world, yet he has a respectable score of 160. It is estimated that Albert Einstein, the most popular physicist in history, had an IQ between 160 and 180. These gentlemen must be mentioned because their mere images are symbols of genius. But let's talk about the people who truly, today, possess the most prodigious IQs. There's the phenomenal Marilyn Vos Savant, a writer who was considered for a long time the most intelligent woman and person in existence. Some reports indicate that her IQ exceeded 200 by far. Others cite it as being around 190. These disparities must result from different types of tests. On the other hand, something unbelievable and hard to believe is that there is a man named Rick Rossner with an IQ of 192 who, until very recently, worked as a stripper and bouncer at a nightclub. Beyond them, there are mega geniuses like Dr. Kim Ung-yong, a South Korean who started speaking at just 6 months old. He speaks fluent Japanese, German, and English, loves poetry and mathematics, and NASA has invited him many times to give lectures. His IQ is 210. At 13, Christopher Hirata won a gold medal in the Physics Olympiad, defeating people much older than him. At 22, he had a PhD from the most prestigious university in the United States. Today, he works for NASA with an IQ of 225 points. And finally, the man with the most brilliant brain in the world today, Terence Tao. It is said that since the age of 5, he could solve complex equations and is considered the most outstanding mathematician today. He earned his PhD at 20 and at 24 worked as a professor at UCLA, one of the best universities in existence, with 230 points. All these people are one in tens of millions, heavyweights, mega geniuses, but with all due respect, and I know they would be the first to recognize it, alongside the most intelligent human being who ever existed, according to the historical record, the previously mentioned men and women pale in comparison. This person is not one but many steps ahead of all of them, and it is believed that he was the most intelligent person who ever lived. Such an individual is born only once every many generations. I present to you William James Sidis. The feats of this man were such that some consider him a paranormal topic, but that is incorrect because this man really existed and really did the things you will hear. He showed early interest in languages. At the age of 6, William James spoke fluently in 9 languages, his native language and 8 others, but not just any 8 languages. James spoke and wrote in Latin, Greek, Russian, Hebrew, Turkish, Armenian, and finally French and German. As a child, motivated by his achievements, he created his own language, as rich and precise as any other. He called it Vendergoed and wrote a book about it. But narrating this does not do justice to the true brainpower of Sidis. Perhaps the most amusing anecdote about him is that one morning, as an adult, he went to the library requesting several books in Portuguese. He was recognized at the place and greeted affectionately. When asked what he was doing there, James said he was interested in learning a new language. So they left him in peace to study, and James spent the entire day sitting, reading, and reading without stopping. When the sun set, he finally stopped. The next day, he went to take a test to verify the fruit of his studies and scored a perfect score. Although the accent wasn't perfect, the man officially knew how to speak Portuguese. In short, William James Sidis learned a language in one day. The son of Russian immigrants, James was born on April 1, 1898, in New York, United States. His parents were intelligent people and raised their children strictly. The mother read Greek mythology to them before bed, and in the crib, instead of stuffed animals, the father hung wooden blocks showing the alphabet. But of all the siblings, James was the most prodigious. At the age of 1.5, the baby could read the New York Times and held fluent conversations with adults. At 3, his parents caught him using the typewriter. He had dragged a chair and used several books to climb up to the desk. They found him writing a letter in which he listed all the toys he wanted. At 4, William had already read books like the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer in their original language, of course. But this was just the beginning. The incredible thing about this person, and what sets him apart from others, is that he wasn't a genius in just one trade. James was excellent in everything he set his mind to. At the age of 6, he created a mathematical algorithm to calculate on what day of the week any historical event in humanity had occurred, given the information presented. As a child, he also corrected a postulate by Edward Vermeil Huntington, one of the most important mathematicians in the world at the time. At 11, William James Sidis already had a master's degree in mathematics and planetary studies and was giving lectures at Harvard. One of the most remembered was his talk on four-dimensional bodies. The university's director said he would become the greatest man in history. And there's much more. At the age of 5, James had already written 4 books, 2 on human anatomy and 2 on astronomy. At 6, just as a recreational hobby, he passed an exam at Harvard Medical School. At 7, he passed another admission exam at MIT, the best engineering university in the world. Sidis, on the other hand, showed no real interest in either of these things. He was just playing by passing entrance exams. But by 9, he was already at Harvard and completed a degree as a linguist, graduating with honors. At 16, he entered law school at the same university and also graduated as a lawyer, with honors, all while continuing to study languages. As an adult, James spoke perfectly 40 languages. Unfortunately, not everything is light and wonder. William developed a very introverted and reclusive personality. He never had a girlfriend, never married, and had no interest whatsoever in contact with other people. He had almost no friends. It is said that perhaps this was because he never found himself in any group of people, not even among geniuses. He preferred to be alone, undisturbed. He was a professor of trigonometry, Euclidean geometry, and non-Euclidean geometry. In his youth, he was a socialist, which got him into trouble, but as an adult, he was a fervent libertarian. Unfortunately, at that time, it was also quite dangerous to be a libertarian in the United States. Ironically, it was thanks to libertarian policies that the same country achieved its status as an economic superpower in the 1950s. James wanted to have a private life, and this led him to publish a multitude of books under pseudonyms. He didn't like the outdoors and didn't like attention. Even so, this conflicted genius, who was born too far ahead of his time and therefore could not be fully utilized, graduated with honors in 7 different careers, all at universities of excellent reputation. He died at 46 of a cerebral hemorrhage. Experts worldwide, most from reputable societies like Mensa, estimate that William James Sidis' IQ should range between 250 and 300 points. Without a doubt, and by far the most intelligent man on record, but also a curious lesson about life. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it. Subscribe and add me on social media.